Bobbie M. from Lake Havasu.
Oh, you can help me down?
Whoa, hello, I'm Bobbie, alcoholic. Hi, everybody. I guess I should thank the people that asked me to come and do this. I'm kind of honored, you know, it's like, it's humbling, really. Anyway, I'm going to try and tell you what it was like. I'm going to give you the short version. And I'm sorry it might go on a little bit, but for me it's important because I don't want to forget where I came from. I don't want to forget what I learned to do at a young age and what I did. So, is there anyone new here today? No new people? Well, there is. Okay, I want to welcome you personally. Yeah, I want to personally welcome you. I did not come here to get help. I was not attracted to this at all, and I wasn't going to listen to anything you had to say. I had a better plan. This morning we had a meeting, and the conversation had to do with when we say, I got this, right? I got this. I had a better one. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. That was mine. So anyway, I'm gonna get on with this. All right, I was raised in a violent alcoholic family. Everybody drank. All my uncles drank. They fought. It was a big nightmare. And I spent my life trying to hide and stay under the radar. So I learned that really young. And I don't know, it was kind of like I was always trying to protect my brothers and my mother, but I was too young to do anything about it. So I kind of felt, you know, a little below the scale, and you know, I can't really do anything. But anyway, I went out kind of like on my own. I didn't have to be in until the street lights came on, so I was out running around all day doing what I wanted to do. And one day my mother said, well, we're going somewhere. So I said, all right. So we start walking through this courtyard, and I go, where are we going? She goes, you're going to school. I said, oh, no, I don't want to go to school. I go, I don't want to play with anybody. I don't want to meet nobody. I don't want to do anything. So she took me to kindergarten, and I spent kindergarten on the baby bench, and they suspended me. I got caught smoking across the street from school and carrying a knife and cigarettes and a lighter. So they let me go, and I was out running the streets. And me and my brother, I took my little brother, and we went down to the Safeway, and we stole candy and cookies and sodas off the trucks. They were open. And we took them down to the high school, and we sat up in the trees, and we would drop soda and candy to the guys playing PE and stuff like that. And in exchange for that, what they let us do at lunchtime, they got us in their hot rods, and they took us down to the diner and bought us hamburgers and milkshakes and all that stuff. And when we came back, then all the girls wanted to know who these cute little boys were, and they brought us up in the classroom and let us sit on their laps, and, you know, I was in heaven. That's what I wanted to do the rest of my life. I didn't want to go to school. That was it. So we got through that, and they put us in Catholic school. I didn't get along in school at all. I didn't gravitate. The guys didn't play with me. They didn't like me playing with them, and I got in a fight playing football, and it just didn't work out for me. So I stayed to myself. We moved to a new town. I had to meet new friends, had to be tested and play all the games, and I went through it all. But I first started drinking probably I was about 4. You know, my dad would leave old fashions around the house, and he would forget to drink them or whatever, and he'd make a new one, and they'd be all over the place. I'd be drinking and watching cartoons and all this stuff. And I don't remember the effects, but I do remember the taste, and I loved the taste. And then he gave me beer once in a while on a Saturday, so that was my first introduction. And when I started to go to this new school in a new town, the kids were stealing cigarettes and beer and stuff, so I got involved with that, and I just rolled on. By 8th grade, I was popping pills, drinking, smoking on a daily basis. By 9th grade, I hate to say it, I started shooting heroin. Drugs is part of my story, and thank God it is, because it stopped me dead in my tracks. And by 10th grade, I was in and out of juvenile hall every month. I was a ward of the court, always under patrol and always being watched and always being stopped and always being arrested because I was doing something. On my 18th birthday, I was arrested for an armed robbery, and I beat the case. My buddy that was with me told him that I did not pull it, that I just came out of the house and he met me with the guns and the money. And they couldn't prove it, so they told me they were sick and tired of my games and my bullshit, so they said, if you so much as spit on the sidewalk, we're setting you up to go to prison. So I made my first geographic, and I moved from Oakland to San Francisco. And I said, I'm going to stop doing drugs because the police are getting too hot. Now I'm 18 and they're going to set me up. So I moved to San Francisco and I tried to hide out over there. And I got a job in the Tenderloin at a bar. Perfect. My job was to clean the bar from 2 a.m. when they closed till 6 a.m. And then at 6 a.m. I'd open it up and serve drinks till 10. And that went well until, well, I'm not going to go into that part of it. But anyway, I got a better job. I moved up, and then I got to work at a Hofbräu where I had a full shift, and I had all the hookers coming in and cashing, cashier's checks from all the Johns they were stealing it from. So they were giving me half the money and for cashing the checks, and we had this thing going on. It got crazy. It got out of control, and I started running into some problems in San Francisco. And over the years, I'd been homeless 3 or 4 times in my life. I'd lost everything I had. I'd come back. I'd get my stuff back together. I'd get a job. I got a job in the shipyards. I was doing all kinds of stuff. Never really thinking about losing what I was losing. It was like, I can get it back. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. And it wasn't until, 1976, I was stabbed in a bad deal out in the Mission District of San Francisco and brought to the hospital dead on arrival. And the guy at the front door, the doctor at the front door, took out his pocket knife and cut my heart open to try and get me going. And they didn't know that it hit a main artery, so they put blood in, but it just kept blumbing out. But they fixed it and whatever, and I came to, and it wasn't enough to stop me. I had to go another 8 years or so. Had to learn my lesson, and so I went to another 8 years, and once again I was homeless on the streets, and I went to my mother one day, and I went to borrow some money, and I could always borrow money from my mother because I would always pay her back within the week, so she would always loan me the money. So I had an ace in the hole. But this day it was a Friday, and I said, yeah, I need some money, Mom. She goes, well, you know what? She goes, this time I'm not going to loan it to you. She goes, but I am going to hand you this. And she handed me a pamphlet to a hospital, Gladman Hospital in Oakland. And it was a 30-day spin dry thing, and I was on the street. I didn't have any money. She wouldn't loan me no money, and so I figured, well, what the heck, this is just like another little jail stint. I'll just get fattened up and healthied up and come back out and do my thing, maybe collect a check or two. And so I called them, and they said, no, we're not seeing anybody till Monday. It's too late on Friday, so if you want to make an appointment for Monday, come in. So I made an appointment, and I was out on the street. No money, sick, no good. Ran into some friends of mine. They said, yeah, we're going down to Los Banos for the weekend. You want to go down there again? And I said, yeah. So, well, we'll pick you up tomorrow. Well, they never showed up. And I was out there for my weekend, and Monday morning I showed up at this place in Oakland and checked in. The lady said, so how you doing? I said, oh, pretty good. She goes, well, how's somebody that drinks a case of beer every day and sticks needles in his arms all day feel really good? I said, well, I don't know, I'm just a little tired. Other than that, I'm all right. So she did some more talking, and she said, all right, you can come in here. I had insurance, and so she set me up with a room, and I got up Tuesday morning and I picked up the Oakland Tribune, and the headlines was 6 men were killed in a head-on collision going down 152 to Los Banos. And my first thought was, these are all my partners, man. You know, these are my guys, you know. And my second thought was, you know what? I'm invincible. I've been shot, stabbed, killed, jails, institutions, and death. I'd made it all. And I go, and now God doesn't even want me dead, or he'd have put me in that car. And I thought I was Mr. Hip, Slick, and Cool, who could get out of anything and beat any case and do anything. I'd beaten every case I'd ever come up against. So I went about my business. Got in there. They told me I was crazy, that I needed long-term help. Told them they didn't know who they were dealing with. And got through there. But while I was in there, I met these guys that brought this meeting in there, and they were these Oakland gangsters, Berkeley gangsters, and they had connections all over, and all these people, they've been in shootouts with the Richmond police, and so yeah, you ought to come up to our program. They go, we got girls, and we got weights, and we got food, and we go out and do this and do that. And I'm figuring, I go, wow, if I go up there for 6 months, I'll have 6 months worth of disability checks, and by the time I get out of there, I can redo my thing and get going again. And so I called them up. I did 45 days in this program, and it was right before Christmas. I went in there on November 20th, 1983, and I called them up after I got out, and they said, no, we're not seeing anybody till after the first of the year. So I made an appointment. I went out and did my thing, and I used again and did, you know, drinking and all that stuff. And I had no place to live, but my dentist let me stay at his office in the city. And like on January 8th, 1984, I walked into this place in Berkeley, and it was called Newbridge. And my wife was with me, and my mother, and my wife had her head in her chest, and I was pretty messed up. And they said, no, you got to come in here with 2 days sober. And I go, all right. So I came back on January 10th. And they said, all right, well, this is a year program. I go, oh, no. I go, I'll give you 6 months. You know, I got things to do, places to go, people to see. I'm a busy guy. And they go, really? And they go, yeah. And I go, well, that's it. And so they said, all right, you can come in here. So I came in there, and I was there, you know, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks, and I said, this ain't for me, I'm leaving. And I was going out the door, and this girl said, oh, Bobbie, stay, just stick around, it'll be all right. I said, all right, what the heck? So I stayed, and people started telling me, like, my family and all the police, everybody that ever knew me, judge, they go, he'll never make that. He's never going to ever make that. I said, all right, watch this, I'm going to do it. So I said, I'm going to make this no matter what. And I said, I'm just going to do what they tell me. And they told me, you know, I had always planned on stopping using, you know, chemicals and stuff like that. But I was never going to stop drinking. I was going to drink till the day I died. I love drinking. Going to jail for drunk driving and fighting, that's just normal stuff. I'm okay with that. But this place told me you can't drink either. I said, oh, okay, well, I'll do what you tell me. I'll watch this. I'm going to show these people. So I did it. And I started to learn some things in there, but, you know, my sponsor, two of my most favorite readings that they read and how it works is, some of us tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil, until we let go absolutely. My sponsor said, nil means nothing, and absolutely means completely. And another one is half measures availed us nothing. My sponsor said, half measures don't avail you half. Half measures avail you nothing. But I didn't hear that. I was a half measure guy, and my old ideas are what saved my life. So I kept using them. And I graduated this place. I did it in record time. It was like a 2-year program. Everybody was doing 2 years, 2.5 years. I did it in 16 months. I was a special case, let me tell you. Don't have time to go into all the fun details. But anyway, I made it out of there, and I had to divorce my wife because she didn't want to quit using. One of the hardest codependent things I ever did was try to save her, and it didn't work. Let go of her, and I got a new girlfriend at one of the dances in San Francisco. And we had a baby, and we got married. You know, first things first, right? And, you know, I was going to meetings. I'd go to the AA meetings, and they were too dressed up. People were too nice. And I'd go to the NA meetings, everybody's talking about how hip, slick, and cool they were, and how many women and drugs. I go, that's bullshit. One night maybe, but the rest of it's all bullshit. So I didn't gravitate, you know. And plus I had this inferiority complex, and, you know, I was better. I didn't think I was better than anybody. I just thought I was smart. You know, it's like, you guys might have a little bit, but I know what I'm doing. And so I went back out in the world, and my wife started using again, smoking pot. I said, that ain't happening, man. You don't straighten up, I'm leaving. She didn't straighten up, she lied about it, I left. So I'm out on the streets 8 years, right? I ain't drunk or used, I haven't done anything. I got a new job, the new house, the new truck, I got it all, man. I'm stuffing money under my mattress. I got a contractor's license, I'm going to town. And things just weren't going right. Fighting people in the streets, road raging, crazy stuff, man. Angry about, after all I'd done to change my whole entire life, how come God's still dealing me these shitty cards, man? I can't get that. And one day I was standing there, I said, you know, I've done everything there is to change my life except one thing, and that's the 4 things they told me to do. Go to meetings, get a sponsor, work the steps, and help others. I said, well, I guess I'm going to have to try that. So I moved to a new town out of San Francisco. I was in San Francisco at the time, and I moved up north to Marin and started going back to these meetings, and I didn't like it. I didn't want to go, but I did. And I got a sponsor. He had 3 years, but I had 8, so I thought I knew more than he did. And I really didn't get nothing out of him, you know, and I was just kind of dumbfounded. And I met this woman at the meetings, and we used to talk a lot. There was no sexual thing going on. We just really talk about stuff. And one day she said to me, she goes, you know, would you like to go hear my dad speak at a meeting? And I said, well, I guess. She goes, well, he's got 20 years, and I think he might have something that you want to hear. I said, well, sure, I'll go. So we went to this meeting, and her dad, he's out in front, he's hugging everybody and telling everybody he loves them. He gets up there and starts talking about going out and helping everybody in the world. And I love everybody, and I have no animosity. And I go, well, this guy's full of shit, man. I go, there's nobody that can do that. I go, you know, some people you like, and the rest of them you got to straighten out. That's just life, right? But this guy loves everybody. I go, this guy's crazy. So anyway, I went about my business, and I didn't get nothing out of that. And one day I was sitting in my house, and I was pissed off about something. I don't know what it was. I forget. I was going to kill somebody. I was so angry, and I said, maybe I better go to a meeting. So I went to this meeting, and I walked in, and who's the speaker? But the same guy. I go, shit. So now what am I going to do? So I sat on, I go, no, I'm not going to listen to this crap again. And I got up and I started to walk out the door. And this thought came to my mind. This counselor told me one day, he said, you know, Bobbie, he goes, you're so crazy that you need to do the complete opposite of what your head tells you to do at any given moment. He goes, and hopefully by going to that far other end of the spectrum, you might come back and find a balance in the middle. So I said, well, So here's a perfect opportunity. I go, here's the guy I can't stand. He's got nothing I want, and it's the complete opposite. He loves everybody. I can't stand anybody. So I'm going to sit back down, and I'm going to ask him to be my sponsor. So I sat back down and listened to him again. And after the meeting, I went up and I said, yeah, I need a sponsor. He goes, yeah? I go, yeah. He goes, all right. I said, well, what do you want me to do? He goes, really? You want to know? And I said, yeah. He goes, all right, 4 things. He goes, 1, I want you to get up in the morning and I want you to pray, write, and meditate. He goes, 2, I want you to go to the morning meeting every day, 7 days a week, not 5. He goes, 3, I want you to call me every day and check in. He goes, 4, sit down with me once a week and we'll see how your progress is going for the week. I said, is that all? He goes, yeah. I go, no problem. I couldn't do one thing he asked me to do. Get up in the morning and pray, write. Well, you know, I can write. I know what to write, but what am I going to write about? Right? And pray, well, I already knew how to pray. God, get me out of this. I'll never do that again, which was a lie. And meditation, well, my mind didn't shut down for 5 seconds. The minute my eyes were open, it was on. Plotting, planning, you know, I was off going. And the morning meeting every day, well, some days I didn't feel like getting up. Other days I had to go to work. Other days I just didn't want to see you people. And 3, call him every night. Well, I didn't even like the guy. What am I going to call him and talk to him about? I just don't want to call him. So I didn't call him. Once a week turned into months. But, you know, I'd see him at a meeting when I'd pop in every now and then. And I always had a topic every morning that I was there. It was anger. Some asshole, somebody did something to me or something. And I don't know, a couple months later, we were sitting down talking, or we went out to breakfast after the meeting, and he said, so how's it going? I said, oh, the IRS ought to be charged with racketeering, and bitch at the grocery store, and this guy, asshole on the freeway, and the people I work with. I was pissed off at everybody and everything. And he said, you know, he said, you haven't done a goddamn thing I asked you to do. He said, and if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. I said, really? He goes, yeah. I said, oh, all right. I said, all right, I'll do everything you tell me to do, and when it doesn't work, I'm going to shove it down your throat. How's that? He goes, that's fine. So I went home, and my first sentence was, I don't know what to write, but I'm writing this. And I started going to morning meeting every day. I'd call people and set it up to where you call me or I call you. I made sure I was there. I was going to show this dude. And I called him every week. Every day I called him. I started calling him at 3 in the morning. Just to see if I could get rid of him. He called, hey, love you, brother. Thanks for the call. I go, oh. Can't lose this dude. And I don't know, after a little while, we'd sit down and talk. I was going every week, and we sit down. He goes, now that I see you've been doing what I asked you to do, I said, how do you know? You haven't even asked me to look at my book or nothing. You don't know what I've been writing. He goes, I've seen you every morning at the meeting, and your attitude's different. He goes, I know you've been doing it. So he goes, now we're going to start writing on the steps. I go, yeah. He goes, all right. He goes, I want you to start on the first half of the first step. Since you're writing every morning, go and pray, write, and meditate. Ask God for direction, and you write every day. The first half of the first step. He goes, I want you to go back in your life. I want you to go back as far as you can remember, and just start doing one every day. Powerless incident. Time you felt powerless in your life. Somebody had control or power over you, or somebody or something had power, and there was nothing you could do about it. So I started writing one a day. He goes, number them. So I started writing them. I don't know, a month or two, I don't know what it was. I go back, I go, I can't think of anything else. He goes, all right. He goes, now we're going to go back. He goes, we're going to do the second half of the first step. He goes, we're going to start at 1. He goes, I want you to take 1 a day. I want you to tell me what the powerless incident was, what you did to fix it, straighten it out, or make it right. And then what happened. And in every single one of those times when I felt powerless and I did something or thought of something, I ended up in a jail, in an institution, even dead. I had made all 3. So after we got done with that, I said, now we're going to go to the second step. He said, I want you to write about the miracles that happened in your life that you had nothing to do with. My first thought was that morning I woke up Tuesday morning, I was Mr. Miracle Worker. Nobody ever did anything for me in my life. If it got done and it was right, it was me. He said, the miracles that you had nothing to do with. And when I started writing about all the times that I'd been saved, or accidents and shooting, all the crap I went, all the stuff that I went through that I didn't get hung out to dry or spend the rest of my life in prison or something, I started to realize a power greater than myself was covering my ass the whole time, and I didn't even know it. I mean, I was taught God. It was shoved down my throat. I was Catholic, all that crap. But he never did anything for me. He never did anything for my dad. I used to pray to God help my father, and he never helped him for shit. I didn't have a relationship with a higher power. And so now I'm sitting there, he goes, now that you're powerless, and you know your life's unmanageable when you try to run it, and you know who's been covering your ass all this time, he goes, are you willing to turn it over to this guy in the third step? Or do you want to still keep running it? I said, hey man, no problem. I can do it now. I know, I got this, right? I got this. It didn't last long. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have a clue how to turn anything over to anybody. I was still running the show. He goes, this ain't going to work, man. He goes, this just isn't going to work. He says, here's what you're going to do. He goes, you're going to do nothing. He goes, I don't care what it is, what you think you got to go do, I don't care what it is, unless God comes down and tells you to do it, you're not to do it. I say, okay, whatever. And I'd go to him one day, I got to call the IRS today. They sent me a letter, and he goes, God come tell you to call him back? I go, no. He goes, well, what the hell are you doing? I said, you got to call the IRS. He goes, no, you don't. I go, all right, asshole. I go, when I don't call them and they come after me, you pay the fine. He goes, fine. So I didn't call them. Less than a week, they called me and wanted to make a deal. And I'd been fighting with them for years. I couldn't believe it. And all of a sudden, I'm going to him every day, and he's saying, did God tell you to do that? I go, no. And I almost went over the desk after this guy 100 times. We were fighting and arguing and yelling. I go, all right, I'm going to show you. You're going to do what you tell me. If it ain't work, I'm going to shove it down your throat. He goes, that's fine. So I started to learn that when I did nothing, God took care of everything. I couldn't believe it. Things started working out, and I'm going, this is crazy. I couldn't understand it. When he gave me the fourth step, he said, all right, go write your thing. You know how to do it. You read the book. Okay, right. Well, I came back and handed him the thing. He goes, what's this shit? I go, well, what do you mean? I go, he goes, well, there's 3 columns here. I go, well, there's no 4th column. I didn't have a part in any of this shit. I go, I never did anything to anybody who didn't have it coming to him. Right? I didn't go looking for trouble. I didn't I didn't ask for trouble, but I just took care of business. And he goes, oh, that's not going to work. So he goes, here's what you're going to do. He goes, I want you to write about 4 key people: your mom, your dad, your brother, and this girl that you've been in and out of a relationship for 30 years. We'd hook up, and then, we'd fight, and we'd go break up, go marry somebody, and we'd get divorced, and then we'd come back together, and then we'd fight and break up and go, great. And anyway, so I started writing about all these people, right? And then when I got done with that, we sit down. He goes, all right, well, 5th step. He goes, we're not going to do it tomorrow. He goes, we're going to take a week, and we're going to sit down and we're going to pray. And every day we're going to ask God in our prayers and our writing and our meditation for God to intervene so that we don't try to run this. I said, okay, whatever. Whatever, I love that word. And so took a week, did that, and we sat down. He goes, all right, tell me about your dad. I said, well, guy was an asshole, drunk, beat us all around and shit like that. I go, but you know what? It's over. It's over. He's dead. It's water under the bridge. And I go, it's all. And I go, and I straightened it out. He goes, well, what do you mean? I go, one night he was beating my mom or my little brothers. I had 4 little brothers by that time. And I think I was in 7th grade or something. I was 13 or 14. And he was hitting my mom and my little brother. I forget who it was now. And I told him to stop. And he turned around and he said, what'd you say, you punk? I said, stop. We're tired of this shit. And he came after me and I beat the living shit out of him. And then I talked my mother into kicking him out. Like a week later, she said, what am I going to do, man? What am I going to do, man? I said, Mom, throw him out. We're sick of this shit. She goes, how am I going to take care of you and your brothers? I said, Mom, don't worry about a thing. Me and Marshall take care of it all. And she kicked him out. Well, what I didn't realize was that was the day that I said unconsciously, now I'm in charge. Ain't nobody ever going to tell me what to do again. I'm running the show. And I went out there in the world, and anybody treated me like he did, looked at me crooked, talked to me, yelled at me, screamed, came at me, I beat the living shit out of him, just like I did that day to him. But I didn't know that. I had no clue. I was on automatic pilot. And he goes, now that you know that, you have a choice. I'd never had a choice before. There was no choice. But that didn't save the day. I'm not here to tell you that I've run a great program here. I've been here a long time. The only thing I did right was not pick up and drink. But my sponsor had me in the beginning, with a lot of us, the readings that we read before the meetings. I think there's 5 of them, 5 or 6 of them. And we read them before every meeting. And my sponsor had us dissect every single sentence and sit down and talk about it and the importance of what it said in each sentence there. And I'm so glad he did that, because there's so much information in there. And so anyway, I went on, and I'll say I half-assed work steps. You know, we did 6 steps. I listed character defects and stuff, but I didn't really. I still held on to my old ideas. Like, if you looked at me stupid, I still told you to stop. I didn't have any concept of, staying in my hula hoop. Your behavior was the whole concept of my life. If you didn't act right, you caused me to act out. I don't care how many steps I worked. I don't know what I did. It didn't matter. I still didn't have that concept. And yeah, I changed a lot of behaviors, and yeah, I calmed down a lot, and yeah, I'm not out killing people and doing crazy shit anymore, but I'm still an angry, violent, insane person inside my head when something doesn't go my way or go right or blah, blah, blah. And anyway, I listed my character defects. I sat down and I asked God to humbly remove them. And I had one that was terrible. It was anger. I couldn't figure it out. I went to anger management. I started doing all these things, trying to figure it out. Taking classes and talking to people and therapy and never could get it. One day I stopped and I go, what the hell? I go, I've been trying to run this. I didn't ask God humbly to remove it. I was trying to fix it. Still left in the dark, but it's helped. It's got me. I'll get further down the road with it. And so, in the 8th step, he gives, give me a list of the people you want to make amends to. Give me a list of the people you don't want to make amends to. So I gave him the 2 lists. He ripped up the list of the people I wanted to make amends to. He goes, we're going to work on the people you don't want to make amends to. I said, okay, whatever, right? I don't care, whatever. I'm going to do it my way anyway. And he said, when we got to the 9th step, he said, the 9th step is not about paying back all the people the money you stole, borrowed, or manipulated them out of them, saying I'm sorry to all these people and fixing it. He goes, that's all bullshit. He goes, the 9th step is about restoring each one of these people that you don't want to make amends to the state they were in before you entered their life. I said, shit. I said, well, I said, it's been really nice working with you. I've learned a lot. I said, but there's no way that's going to happen. I said, that's just not going to happen. I did things to people. If I thought you did something to me, like I said earlier, my dad, I said, if I thought you did, I destroyed your life. I made you wish you had never met me. I ruined your friends, your family. I made you really, really wish you had not messed with this guy. And I go, I've ruined some lives, and I go, there's no way I can make that amends. There's just nothing he goes, again, I'm going to tell you, do nothing, be loving, see what God's going to do. He goes, I don't want you going chasing anybody down or hunting people down, calling them, sending kites, any of this crap. He goes, you're not hunting for anybody. He goes, if you're praying, writing, and meditating on a daily basis, and you're going to meetings, and you're helping people, and you're in the spiritual condition you're supposed to be in, every one of those people will re-enter your life at some point, and you will be able to make an amends to them. I said, really? He goes, yeah. You just got to be in the right frame of mind. I said, well, I said, well, in that case, if I don't have to do anything, I'll stay with you. Fine. So I did that. 10th step, he said, just get on your knees at night and look at your day. He goes, did you lie, cheat, steal? Did you hurt anybody? Did you do God's will or your will? And if you didn't, ask God to help you do better tomorrow. Period. I said, okay, I can do that. That's easy. 11th step, he said, sought through prayer and meditation to improve your conscious contact with God as you understand Him. Well, now that I've been working with this guy and I've been going to meetings and I've been helping people and doing things, my spiritual condition is a little better, and I understand. I'm starting to get a God of my understanding, somebody that I can work with, somebody that, I can do this. One of my sponsors, major things, I'd go, well, I got this problem today. He goes, yeah. I go, well, he goes, who'd you help today? I go, who'd I help? I go, I got this problem. He goes, yeah, you're the problem. I go, what are you talking about? I got this problem. He goes, no. Who'd you go help somebody today? So that was my, the 11th step is about helping others. It's getting out of myself. I didn't think I was a selfish guy. I really didn't. I mean, I'm learning more about all that. All that stuff's coming together. But anyway, I didn't think I was selfish. I didn't go out looking for trouble and causing. I was a nice guy. Anyway, that came in. And the 12th step is about going back and helping others, helping people, He would make me go up to people and me. I go, well, I don't like this guy at the meeting. He goes, well, that's the guy you're going up to today. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, you're going to go, how can you help this guy today? I go, hey, that guy's a violent, crazy fool. We're going to get in a fight. He goes, no, but you're going to go help him. I go, crazy shit. So I just did what he told me to do because I was going to prove it. I was going to shove it down his throat when it didn't work. Couldn't do it. This program, and I did not work it to the best of my ability. I've lied, I've cheated, I've stolen, I've done all the crazy shit. Maybe not as much as I used to, but I've done it all here. This is like, my sponsor said, the book is a guide. The book is not the Bible. He goes, it's a guide, and it's guiding you through your life and your insanity. He goes, you're not going to come in and read this book and get this and change your life tomorrow. It's not going to happen that way. He goes, this is a lifelong process. He goes, you got to do it a day at a time. He goes, you're going to stumble, you're going to fall down, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to hurt people, you're going to do a lot of stuff around here. But if you don't pick up and drink and you keep coming back and you take the cotton, out of your ears and put it in your mouth. He goes, you might learn something. He goes, it's a journey, man. It's not the destination. Because you're not trying to get that, happy, joyous, and free. That's not the destination. He goes, one day at a time, do the best you can and learn from your mistakes. And if you got problems, that's why I'm here. He goes, you don't go to meetings to throw up on people, talk about all the crap and the problems. He goes, you go to meetings to talk about a solution. He goes, you go to look around the rooms and see who can you help. He goes, you want to throw up on somebody, come and throw up on me. Okay? I have no idea what time it is. I want to read something that I was thinking about today. Got to find my cheaters. Oh, they're broken. Well, that ain't going to work. Let's see, these will work. I was looking today, I said, I want to say something at least decent. Here we go. The joy of sharing, right? I was like, I'm going to be sharing with these people. I want to say something cool, right? Life will take on a new meaning. To watch people recover, to see them help others, to watch loneliness vanish, to see a fellowship grow up about you, to have a host of friends. This is an experience you must not miss. We know you will not want to miss it. Frequent contact with newcomers and with each other is the bright spot of our lives. That's an understatement. That's an understatement. I had no life before I got here. I didn't have a freaking clue what I was doing. I thought I did. It was crazy. And I'm learning so much more now. Not because I'm any smarter, not because it's because, I'm ready. I guess when you're ready, the teacher will appear. And I've gotten involved with Al-Anon in the last 3 years. I went to Al-Anon years ago. I was just a bunch of women bitching about their husbands. Just happened to be that meeting that I was going to because where I lived. Not the thing for Al-Anon. But I started going last 3 years. I've learned more about my anger and my it's not about what you're doing. It's about my spiritual grounding. What's going on here, really? What's really going on? So I just want to tell the newcomers, or if anybody feels new, or anybody that's lost. And I was lost in here. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just, okay, I'm just not going to drink and use. Everything's great. Okay, whatever. Rack up a bunch of years, look good, whatever, blah, blah, blah. This program, I don't have words for it. I just don't. I'm living a life beyond my wildest. I had no clue. I was talking to a guy the other day. No clue in the world that my life would be this way. And it's not because of what I have. It's just that serenity, that kind of like, yeah, I still got issues and I still got this, but I got tools, man. I got people. I got an outlet. I know what to do. I got a plan. But it's with you guys.
Jokes too.
Anyway, what time is it? Am I done? Pretty close.
7:55. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. What do I want to talk about? Oh, yeah, my daughter. I'll talk about my daughter. Love my daughter. I have one daughter. I left her mother because her mother kept using, but I paid all the money and made sure they were comfortable and blah, 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 and her mother went about her business. My daughter was 5, she got molested. My wife had some lady living with her, and she had a son who lived with them, blah, blah, blah. And I got the news. I was in my sponsor's office, and I got a phone call and said what happened. So he goes, what's wrong? And I said, so I told him. He goes, oh, shit. I said, all right, I'm going to handle it. He goes, what do you mean? So I know what to do. I can handle it. He goes, you can't do that. I said, all right. He goes, go home and pray about it. Go home and write about it. So I went home, wrote and prayed, made phone calls, did all my stuff, and came back the next day, and I was going, all right, I'm free, I'm safe. So he goes, so what'd you decide? He goes, what'd you come up with? I said, well, no problem. He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, I got friends. I got people, and they said, don't worry, Bobbie, we'll find out where he's at, and we'll take care of it for you. He goes, oh, no. So you can't do that. He goes, you got to be there for your daughter. He goes, if you go pulling some of these stunts you were going to do or have these people do this kind of stuff, he goes, you're going to be taken away, and then your daughter won't have anybody. So what I ended up doing was I ended up taking my daughter to counseling every week for 3 years, I think it was. Every Wednesday we'd go to this place, and I took her. She still lived with her mother, but I'd take her, and over the years we went back and forth. She came and lived with me, and then she was at age 10 to 10 to 11, and that's, you don't want a girl around at 10 or 11 years old, but I sent her back to her mother, and then, anyway, she went out running the streets and doing her thing, and but I was always there for her, I said, do what you got to do, man. I'm here when you need me, and I know I got a plan, so you make up your mind. Anyway, today my daughter's got, in July she'll have 7 years clean. She's got 2 children, boy and a girl. Her daughter's 14 in September, and the boys just turned 9 last week. And she kicked the old man out because he wouldn't quit playing around and doing his thing. She's working at Kaiser, and she's going to college. She's graduating with a bachelor's degree in some kind of thing for nursing. Beyond my wildest dreams, man. Beyond my wildest dreams. And she came to me one day. We were driving around, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. I forget when it was. She goes, Dad, I want to thank you. I go, for what? I go, I didn't do anything. She goes, you never told me what to do. I go, what do you mean? She goes, you never sat down and told me what I needed to do and what I better do. She goes, you always listened to what I had to say and what I was talking about. And if I asked you for your advice, you gave me your advice, but you never told me what to do. And she goes, but I knew you were always there if I needed you. I said, wow, what more could you ask for? And my only dream in the whole world when she was growing as a little kid, my only dream in the whole world was that my daughter can come and talk to me about anything in the world and not be afraid. That dream came true. What else can you ask for? Nothing else. My life's good today. My life's good today. So I love you all, and I hope I didn't bore you. I hope it was a good story, and I pray. I wish I could give everybody that doesn't feel it or doesn't want to do it the miracle for this program, but I can't. I can't do that. I had to stumble through it myself. I had to learn, and only by the grace of God did I get some of this. Only because it was definitely not my thinking that got me here. I was fighting it at every turn, every corner. I was always had a better plan, better idea. I don't want to do that. So I just pray that everybody gets half of what I've gotten. So I love you all. Thanks.
Good work.